So just before we do that, we've got something fun, interactive that we'll look into. Now for me, I've had the experience of playing rugby, many different countries, many different people. And I thought I'd just share with you two stories with a character that, in a freaky kind of way, I really love the guy. But he's a character which you wouldn't naturally think would be a great team player. This chap is a chap called Ronnie Regan. Now he's a Bristolian, he's salt of the earth, he's a legend. He's a World Cup winner, he's had 50 caps, he's literally, as it says, he'll come out with it. He's lucky enough to go to South Africa, touring on a 2-test tour in 2000, Bloemfontein and Pretoria. And you can imagine the scene. Okay, we're in Bloemfontein, tough part, real rugby nation, and a tough game. We lost the first test, unfortunately. But Martin Johnson said to Mark Regan, his nickname is Ronnie, he said, Ronnie, you had a good game last week. We're going to Pretoria next week. You show real good leadership skills. What I'd like you to do is to motivate the guys for next week, the game next week. So you can see, I had the pleasure of rooming with Ronnie actually for a number of tours. And he was quite a character. So you can see Ronnie all week, white fronts on in the room. Responsibility, man. Responsibility. Martin has asked me to do a motivational speech for this weekend in Pretoria. So you can see him all week leading up to it. And we're like, right, you've seen Ronnie. Shocking, isn't he? He's going to motivate us. Anyway, the game comes, Saturday comes, we're there. We've had a great warm-up, we're all ready to go, and Ronnie, brings us in, and this just shows the character of the man. Brings us in, stands in the middle, he goes, lads, lock arms, lads. Jono has asked me to motivate you ahead of the game today, right? We lost last weekend. We lost in Bloemfontein. What we got to do this weekend, lads, is rise from the flames. Rise from the flames, lads, like a pheasant. So you can imagine, 15 minutes before a test match, crucial test match, England South Africa. We were like this. But the funny part was, I think Simon Shaw turned to Ron and goes, Ron, sorry mate, good point. He said, I think you mean a phoenix, mate. I think you mean rise from the flames like a phoenix. And Ronnie just turned to him and goes, oh yeah, pal. At least I knew it began with F. So it just shows a real special character. And I think if you remember after the World Cup in 2003, the whole England squad went to Downing Street to see the Prime Minister. And they were sort of ushered around with a butler, and they had a butler, and the butler said, could you wait in this room? Tony Blair's going to be through in the other room, but if you could wait here for the moment, I'll bring you through. So all the guys are waiting there, and Ronnie was sort of mingling and stuff like that. And the butler said, guys, if you come through now and meet Tony Blair, he's going to be in another room, but this is the room you'll meet him in, and so if you could just, so all the team moved from this room to the other, and the butler was walking around and stuff like that. He comes up to Ronnie and he goes, oh, Greg? And Ronnie goes, Mark Regan, So I think the purpose of that is to show you that in terms of any team, we all have different characteristics. We have different ways of looking at things. But that's the great thing about us. We're all different. We're all individuals in our own right. But the ability to understand how to get the best with, for, and from each other in the team really makes a powerful dynamic. Because we wouldn't all want to be the same. We would certainly want to be, different.